Here I am at my latest property flip project. Now I'm excited to say next week the keys will be handed over. So I'll be completing on the sale of this project. Purchase price 162.5, refurbishment around £64,000, sold price, so sale agreed at 332.5. So that gives me, after everything, legal fees, buying and selling costs, etc., profit of around £95,000. So I'm excited to be getting this deal through. So how do we find deals like this? How do we find below market value deals where we can really add some value, make some profit, and actually get paid well for our hard work? There's a whole bunch of different ways to do it. Now, I've been in property over 15 years, so I've tried pretty much everything. Now, you can buy a property nowadays on Gumtree, you can buy a property on eBay, so you can call these people and you can try and do deals directly with vendors. I've called hundreds of landlords that have property and see if they might be interested in selling to me. I've tried it all. And after all this time being in property, finding below market value deals, what is the best way of consistently finding the best deals? Estate agents. Now, I know that's boring and I know that's something that everybody already knows, but I have to say there's a lot of time and effort you could put into finding deals directly to vendor. Now, don't get me wrong, they can be amazingly profitable when you find them. So I'm saying not to not do it, but absolutely to be focused on agents as your main strategy. First of all, it's free, which is great. There's thousands of agents across the country, so you can build your relationships, you can build your contacts very easily at no cost. It just costs your time. And agents, when you get a good one that brings you good deals, has an understanding of what a good deal is and understands your criteria in your area, it will be a lot of work and effort, not just for one deal though. It could be multiple deals that you'll get time and time again, which you don't get usually when you're just direct to vendor. It will normally be one deal, and that's great, but that's it. So when you're dealing with agents, you get deal after deal after deal. Now, this property I'm stood in was the 9th property that I got from one particular agent. So 9 below market value deals from one agent who knows me very well, understands my investment criteria, and the win for them is not only do I buy the property quickly and ultimately do a good refurbishment job, but I bring it back to them to sell, right? So that is a win-win for the agent. So that's always been the case with that particular agent. I'll buy it off them, do the works, and sell it to them. So they don't just get the one fee to selling to me, they'll get 2 fees, right? So having 2 fees is better than one when you're a estate agent. So they'll know that's the win for them. But the main win in this scenario, because this deal came to me prior to going onto the market, so it didn't actually end up going onto the open market. So this was an off-market deal via an estate agent. How does that happen? Why does that happen? Well, in some cases, and this might be hard to believe if you're new to property, but in some cases, some sellers absolutely need a quick sale. They might be in financial hardship, there might be personal issues, there might be something there where they need a quick sale. So for them, it's not just about the amount of money that's attractive, it's about the speed and the certainty of a sale. So if, as I can be in this scenario, a cash investor who can fund this deal without a mortgage, who can move quickly on this deal, then that's going to be attractive for someone who needs to sell quickly. So it's the speed and the certainty of the sale that you can offer when you're buying properties. Like me, you'll be buying them less at a lower price than what other people are typically willing to pay. So you have to get your head around that fundamental fact. You are paying less. So if you're just buying a property that's cheap, it doesn't necessarily mean you're buying a good deal. There could be a host of various problems with that property that is the reason it's cheap. What you really want to be doing is buying great properties at a low price. So sometimes they're overpriced, sometimes not, but you want to be buying a discount on value not necessarily a discount on asking price, because asking price doesn't necessarily mean it's priced well, priced correctly. So we're looking at discount on value. So in this instance, got the deal directly off an agent prior to going onto the market. So it never found its way onto the market. It came to me first. I bought it under auction terms because that's what the seller would wanting, or that's what the seller wanted to get a quick sale. They wanted that certainty of sale, and that's what you get when you're selling at auction. So I was fine to do that and fine to progress quickly with the purchase. So as great as off-market deals are that come to me via estate agents that I know and I've built up great relationships with, that's not all I do. I don't sit there and wait for the phone to ring to find my next below market value deal. No, I've been in property over 15 years, but I'm still out there networking, calling, building relationships with agents I've never spoken to constantly find that next deal. Because some agents, as good as they are, just don't have any stock at any given time. So you can't just wait. You have to constantly go out there and be proactive. Being successful in property, especially flipping property, finding deals that are going to make sense in terms of the numbers, requires effort. It requires time and effort put into it to find the best deals, because it's a numbers game. Right? You have to get out there and put some calls into this. So put some phone calls into this, hear some no's, get some rejections, and keep going until you find deals. So it's very much a numbers game. Now, it's nice to be able to say you'd have to make X number of calls and X number of viewings to find a deal. That doesn't necessarily always apply. It can vary depending on the marketplace. But generally speaking, I'd be prepared and often have to make 100 phone calls, view 30 properties before I find a deal at the right price that makes sense. That's a lot of time and effort in some cases. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not always like that, because sometimes I get deals that come to me and it's great when they do, but be prepared to have to do that. But if you had to put that time and effort in to find one deal like this that made you £95,000 profit, 40% return on investment, would you do it? No, I know I would. I would take as many deals like this as I can find. So making sure that you're putting the time and effort in is important. It's a numbers game, but it's also about timing. What's crucial about finding below market value deals is right place, right time. So when you're putting your offers out, you actually want to hear no first. It's good if you hear no, because that means that you haven't offered too high. Last thing in the world I want when I put an offer in is to hear yes, because I'll be kicking myself that I could have gone in lower. Right? So you want to hear no at least once. And that starts a conversation with the seller. Now, bear in mind, if you're buying truly discounted below market value deals, then you'll be buying them at a price that is lower than what other people typically will be happy to pay. So that means most of your offers will be rejected. They're not going to go through. So it's not about assuming every time you put an offer out, you can turn it into a yes. No, you can't. Most times, even with patience, persistence, and good relationships, you will still hear no. But what's crucial is that you're tracking your offers and you're seeing what happens over time, because that seller might hear right now that there's a little bit of interest and viewings happening, so they're inclined to wait to see if they can get more than what you've offered. But if for whatever reason that doesn't happen, that no can become a yes. It might be a few days later, it might be a few weeks later, it might be a few months later. But if you don't track the offers you're putting out, you won't be able to see that no turn into a yes, because don't assume that an agent will remember your offer and they'll always come back to you to see if you'll increase it or to see if that seller might now take your low offer. It doesn't always happen. Often does, but it doesn't always. So it's your job to check in with that agent on a regular basis and say, look, has anything changed? Is my offer now acceptable? And they might come back to you and say, no, but if you can give us £5,000 more, maybe it'll be a yes, or whatever that situation might be. But if you track it, you'll understand over time, those no's can become yeses. So that is absolutely crucial. Tracking offers, turning no's into yeses is part and parcel of how you be successful in property trading. I had to sit on an offer for 6 months in one property that I bought. I put an offer out, got rejected. Literally, it took 6 months, and I didn't even increase the offer. It took 6 months before that seller was willing to say yes. So you don't know how long it's going to take, but what you do need to know is you need to track it and you need to be persistent. So that's absolutely crucial, tracking offers. And one of the best ways of finding deals, again, it's all related to good timing, is when a sale just falls through. So if a seller has a property, the sale's going through, the buyer's gone and had their mortgage, so the valuer's been round or surveyor's been round to look at the value of that property. They've discovered there's a problem that makes that property unmortgageable. That's a great opportunity for you. So maybe there's an issue with the roof, maybe there's severe damp problems, maybe there's a structural issue somewhere. And if you can be a cash buyer, so you're using bridging finance, private finance, or your own funds, combination of those to put yourself in a position of being a cash buyer, then you can swoop in and find that deal, often at a great price, because the seller is going to be, in most cases, more motivated now to sell that property that is no longer a mortgageable property. So it can actually be a really good time to swoop in and find a deal. So timing is everything, persistence, numbers game, and focus on the tried and true method of finding deals, which is through estate agents. There's thousands of them out there. Doesn't cost you anything you don't need to do any advertising, any marketing like you do when you're going direct to vendor in some cases. You can just get out there and start speaking to agents to network and find those good deals. So hopefully this has been useful for you. You've enjoyed this video and you'll see me again soon.